this might be the best cup of coffee I've had all week. And the location is something to do with that. Good morning. Let's make some coffee. You may be wondering what kind of brewer we're using today on the side of this hill. It's the Tetra Drip. This is a cone dripper which folds down flat, weighs next to nothing. It's really great and just snaps together really easily. So there's a couple of things I really like about this. Weight, pack size being the main two. The third one being it's yellow. So it goes with my cup. Speaking of weight, how much does it weigh? Just under 11 grams. So this thing works with V60 filters. Obviously you want the smallest size. Now before this water's almost boiled, very hot. Rinse out that filter. Hot, hot, hot. Not used to it getting so hot. We got our rinsed filter. We've got our cup ready to go. We'll find somewhere to precariously balance that with lots of hill here, and we've just lost all our water. Don't make coffee on a hill, it's stupid. We've moved around, just moved up the hill a bit where it's a little bit flatter. My experience with cone brewers is relatively limited, which means that I'm still weighing my water as I go in, kind of still working out different techniques. It might be that when I get more used to that, I'll be confident doing things a bit more freestyle and just taking the brewer and the beans. But for now, I need to bring this in order to get a good brew out of it. Luckily, this doesn't weigh very much, but it's going to factor into the overall weight of this solution. Obviously, on trail for real, I would probably pre-grind my beans because, as you can imagine, grinders are heavy. I would love to look at some proper outdoor solutions for grinding. I've yet to find any that are affordable, to be honest. So we're going to add our grounds right to the middle. I'm going to use my finger to make a little well. All right, our first pour, we are going to do 40 grams of water in, starting in the middle, and then as that fills up, I'm going to start going around the edge. So that's 40 grams of water in. We're going to let this bloom. If I was at home, I'd do that about 45 seconds, which times out in this brewer to be just about the bed emptying once. So we're going to let that run all the way through, and then we'll start doing additional pours. And then I'm doing little circles. And what I'm going to do now is that's brought that back up to another 40 grams, up to 80. And what I'm going to do now is just kind of try and keep the bed at a similar kind of level. So I'm going to top up every time approximately 20 grams has gone through. So I'm going to bring it up from 80 to 100. Then I'll do 80, 120, etc., till we get to our 200 gram cup. Now, if this was a normal V60, I would be doing that in fewer pours, but because this is so small, you have to do it in more pours, and you have to just think about being careful not to over agitate the bed, but a little bit of agitation is no bad thing. It's quite meditative, really, isn't it? Right, I'm going to top this up. We're going all the way to 200 grams of water in, which is almost all our water. And then we're just going to let that run through and we'll have our cup. I've been using this brewer at home to practice with for a couple of weeks. And obviously there's a big difference between brewing at home and brewing out in the wild. And that's kind of some of what I'm discovering right now. Just have that little bit less control, a little bit more to go wrong. One of the things I do like about a cone brewer is you can look at your coffee bed afterwards, and I'm seeing something went a little bit wrong with the grind there, some quite big chunks. I'm gonna have to take a look at my grinder, I think. But mostly it's pretty good. There we go, all done. Nice thing about a brewer that takes its time is your coffee should be close to drinking temperature. Oh baby. Oh, I needn't have worried about that coffee bed. This tastes great. Now what I'm not going to do is give you tasting notes and stuff, because obviously that's going to be affected by what coffee you put in it. But I can tell you that though finicky, this is going to give you a result that's as good as a V60 at home. It's got its quirks. You have to kind of find a recipe that works for this. It won't work with a normal V60 1 cup recipe because of the triangular nature of it, but it's pretty easy to work out. This might be the best cup of coffee I've had all week, and the location is something to do with that. But also the brewer is really good. It weighs next to nothing. And even if you do bring a scale with you, if you find one of these ones, again, that's really packable, really small. So we're going to give this thing some scores. The taste you can get out of this is great. If you like a V60 brew, a cone brewer style, pour over coffee, this does that. We'll give it 5 out of 5. If you don't like, obviously, a cone brewer, don't go for it, because that's what it makes. That's what it is. It's a 5 out of 5 for taste. Obviously, what can go wrong, really? Overall experience, well, you saw my water went over. Finding somewhere that's flat and hard enough for the scale to work properly can be tricky, depending on where you are hiking and camping. I'm on a cliffside here. I have chosen non-ideal settings. So obviously some of that is down to the user, but when you're on trail, you can't guarantee that you're going to find a bit of flat ground. So we got to dock some marks there, don't we, for experience. Let's call it a 3.5, and I'm only doing that so that we've got somewhere to go. For weight and packability, it's got to be full marks. This is less than 11 grams. You're not going to get much lighter than that. I doubt I will find a lighter brewer, and the fact that it packs flat and it could even just slip into your pocket is fantastic. Obviously you have to bring filters with you. If you want to be really particular about the coffee that you're making, you're going to need to bring a scale with you. That adds a little bit of extra weight, but if you get a scale like this one, it's next to nothing. So pretty great. So as long as you've got ground coffee, you're good to go. I'll see you in the next one.